prospects. So we're going to turn to AbraSilver Resources, which is in the Salta area of Argentina with the Diablillos project. I hope I said that right. And John, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you very much.
Correct. Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to walking you through the AbraSilver story. We certainly have a very high growth project with a number of catalysts ahead of us here. So feel this is a very exciting time for our company. Standard disclaimer. Well, of course, I'll be making a number of forward-looking statements here. So AbraSilver's advanced stage high growth explorer. Our key project is called Diablillos. It's in the Salta Province of Argentina, which is a very, very mining-friendly province there. And importantly, we already have sort of a critical mass here at this project. So at Diablillos, the main deposit already has over 50 million tons of resources, and this is in the measured and indicated category. So this is not inferred. This is up in the measured and indicated category already. And as a result, we already have about 110 million ounces of silver, 1.3 million ounces of gold. So on a silver equivalent basis, we're well north of 215 million ounces silver equivalent. Now this is all located close to surface, open pitable, in oxides, in one deposit. Now what's been transformational for our company here over the last 12 months is that we have a brand new high-grade discovery outside of that main deposit. And so this is in a brand new area that had never had any drilling done historically. It's called the Jack Zone. We drilled that off. The very first drill hole was announced just before this conference this time last year. And since then, we've now completed 22,000 meters of drilling. And you can see some of the truly remarkable intercepts we've had from this Jack Zone over the last 12 months. So on a regular basis, we've been hitting hundreds of grams per ton of silver, over tens of meters of thickness here. And, again, this is close to surface in oxides, which is very, very important. So now we've completed 22,000 meters of Jack. This new high-grade zone. We'll be announcing a resource estimate in about 4 weeks' time. So in October, we'll be announcing a resource estimate on this new Jack Zone. So definitely stay tuned for that. And then by January, we're well advanced already on a pre-feasibility study. We'll be announcing that in January, so just in a few months' time. And we see those two catalysts as key re-rating catalysts for us here as we look forward. Just looking at the share structure of the company here, market capitalization is about $200 million Canadian. We have a healthy cash balance, about $11 million in cash as of quarter end. So we're fully funded for this year and beyond. And very, very good liquidity. This is, of course, important in these types of markets. You need excellent liquidity here. We're, frequently one of the most actively traded silver explorers on the TSX venture. Last year, as an example, we traded close to 2 million shares per day on average on the TSX.V. Now, of course, as many of our peers, if not all our peers, we feel we're extremely undervalued in this market. So just as an example, back 2 years ago at the Oculto deposit, which was much smaller at the time, we released a PEA study. And at that PEA study, we had already a 30% after-tax rate of return, close to $500 million Canadian net present value. And so here we are now with the new Jack discovery, and we're trading at less than a half of that valuation with a market cap of $200 million. So we feel, importantly, over the upcoming next few months here, we have several catalysts that should help propel the valuation. So we have a number of drill results left to be announced. We have that big resource estimate coming out on Jack. We have a pre-feasibility study coming out in January in a few months' time. And then next year, we have a number of other high priority targets that we'll be drilling. So I'll talk to those in a moment here. Now, importantly, where this project's located, we're in the Salta Province of Argentina. By the Fraser Institute and a number of others, Salta is deemed as the most mining friendly, I think by far, province in Argentina. And in fact, in 2020, it was voted as the #1 jurisdiction in all of Latin America. So that includes Chile, Peru, Mexico, etc. So Salta has been booming with mining investments. We're located right in the heart of the lithium triangle. So as you can see on the map there, literally all around us, there's 4 green dots. Those are all projects being built. And so these are lithium projects large-scale lithium projects there. And so, billions of dollars are being poured right into our region. So clearly we're going to be a net beneficiary of the infrastructure investments being made. The highways are being upgraded here. There's a second natural gas pipeline being built, et cetera. And we're right in the heart of that major new mining district here. This is a look at our Diablillos project. That's that main Oculto deposit, sits just underneath this hill here. And as you can see, this is high elevation. It's about 4,200 meters elevation there near the peak of that hill, but very, very little snowfall here. So this is up in the Puna of Argentina. So this is a desert-like environment, ideal conditions. We drill 12 months per year here. And no issues whatsoever. When you look at the deposit here, this is a 3D representation drawn to scale with the CN Tower. And so you can see here how large scale. I mentioned we already have a critical mass. That's very important, of course, for any project. So this Oculto deposit, the main deposit, we have north of 215 million ounces. And this is all importantly located close to surface. It's open pittable. It's quite unique for silver projects to be open pittable in oxides. And I'll walk you through the benefits of that very shortly. Now, when you look at our team's track record, at that main Oculto deposit, when myself and the current management team took over running the company back in January of 2020, we already had a decent sized resource here. You can see that 2018 pit outline. That was the existing resource at the time. Since then, we spent 2 years on expanding that main deposit. And in that time period, we spent less than $10 million drilling this. And with that, added 75 million ounces of silver equivalent in the ground. And that's all in the measured and indicated category. So truly industry-leading sort of rate of return on our exploration dollars, 12 cents an ounce here. For every ounce that we've added of silver into measured and indicated category, it's cost us 12 cents. So kudos to our exploration team. They've done a phenomenal job here, really growing this large-scale resource. And the results speak for themselves. How are you able to deliver such a high rate of return? You have to have some of the best drill intercepts in the world. And that's what you see here. And so these are the top 12 best silver intercepts on the planet. This is not just Argentina, not just South America. This is any primary silver asset globally. If you look at the drill intercepts on a grade thickness basis, now that's very important. And so on a grade thickness basis, which is the right way to evaluate these things, of the top 12 best intercepts, we have 6 of those. And so, with a modest size or a small size sort of exploration program, our exploration team has been able to really knock it out of the park here. And the key here is not just hitting high grades. You can hit lots of high grade intercepts here over 1 to 5 meter thicknesses. The key is hitting high grades over, 155 meter thickness. And that's a benefit of being close to surface, open pittable. You hit 100+ meter intercepts here of excellent grades, and that adds a tremendous amount of ounces in the ground. And so looking at the project, all of the drilling up until last year was really focused on the main Oculto deposit. And you can see in that pit outline, that's the main pit shell. And of course, as I just mentioned, we've of course expanded that. But what's really transformed the exploration outlook for the company is that for the first time ever, we drilled just to the southwest of Oculto. So this isn't an area that had never had any drilling done historically. We drilled that after running some geophysics on the broader property here. We saw there was a target there that was untested. We drilled 1 hole into that back in August of last year, and that hit 87 meters of 350 grams of silver here from surface. So truly phenomenal intercept there. That was a discovery hole at Jack. And since then, I've mentioned, we've drilled now 115 holes into that. We've just wrapped up the drill campaign here, and we'll be announcing a resource estimate at Jack in about 4 weeks' time. So looking at the grades, again, consistency is the key here. If you hit 1 or 2 intercepts, high grade, that makes for a splashy headline, not really going to add you a whole bunch of ounces in the resource. Of the 115 holes that we've drilled, over 45 of them, almost half of them, have hit well north of 200 grams per ton of silver over at least 10 meters. And so, 2,000 gram per ton meters here. And so, this is what really sets us apart from all the competition out there, I would say. Importantly, Jack, again, is open pittable. And so when you look at the grades, I mean, for underground, most primary silver projects are underground. And you can have cutoff grades of between 150, 250 grams per ton. That means that's sort of the bare minimum grade to be economic. Here, because it's open pittable and in oxide, cyanide leachable, the cutoff grade is 35 grams per ton. So anything above 35 grams per ton is economic here, makes it into the mine plan. Now, when you're hitting 10 times your cutoff grade, that's truly unique. And that's going to be some very high margin ounces. And that's why we're really looking forward to announcing the resource and that pre-feasibility study here. Now, you can see the Jack discovery is large scale as well. It's not only high grade, but importantly, very large scale. And so you have this now extends for 800 meters, almost a kilometer along strike, up to 150 meters wide, and down to a depth of about 200 meters. Now, beneath that, we also have a number of high-grade sulfide intercepts, where we've hit high-grade copper, high-grade gold, but we're not even including that in the resource at this stage. We're focused on the low-hanging fruit. What's the cheapest, most cost-effective ounces that you can add here? It's in oxides that will be cyanide leachable, easy to mine, easy to process, and very, very high rate of return. Now, I mentioned, the way we discover Jack is by doing some geophysics. And so you can see here. So we have a large-scale land package. It's about 8,000 hectares. So quite, 80 square kilometers. And so, all of that drilling historically was really focused, for the most part, on that Oculto zone. And so at Oculto, there's been over 120,000 meters of drilling throughout the years. That's why we already have that large critical mass there sitting in the ground. But the broader exploration upside here has never properly been explored. And so we ran the geophysics last year, and you can see the big purple blobs there. Those are magnetic low anomalies. And so we decided to test that first one to the southwest of Oculto, again, in a region that had never had any drilling done. And now, lo and behold, 12 months later, we have this new high-grade discovery in that main Jack zone. So that's been our priority for the last year. Now, as you can see, there are several other large anomalies here that we have not yet even gotten around to testing, really. So just immediately to the north of Jack, you can see there's a parallel oval there, slightly smaller, but it's called the Jack North target. This sits about 100 meters beyond the northern boundary of the Jack resource here. There we've only drilled 4 holes to date. We've been busy, obviously, drilling, defining Jack, but we've just started scratching the surface at some of these other deposits. At Jack North, we've drilled 4 holes to date. All 4 of them hit good silver mineralization, with one of the 4 holes hitting 12 meters of 1,042 grams per ton silver. And again, this is starting at 69 meters downhole depth. This is not underground. It's important to keep stressing that. When you see these grades, those are very economic for any underground project. But even more robust when you're open pitting this and you have a 35 gram per ton cutoff. Truly extraordinary grades here. So at Jack North, we've had some very good, positive initial intercepts there. Of course, we'll continue to drill that out next year. And then at some of these other targets as well. Up further to the north, northwest of Oculto, you have this Phantasma target. That seems quite large scale as well. There's been some historical drilling done there, even without the benefit of geophysics. That historical drilling that was done back in 2017 encountered over 280 grams per ton, over 10 meters, etc. Very, very good indications here. We have 6 holes that we've drilled just recently, 2 at Phantasma, 2 at Alpaca, 2 at Jack North, and we should be announcing those results within the next few weeks. And that's going to really help prioritize the next upcoming drill campaign for us as we look to explore this further next year. And so that's really it. In summary, look, I think we've made a tremendous amount of progress here over the last couple of years. So when myself, the current management team, we took over running this company in January 2020. We had a $10 million market cap. Oculto was thought by many as having been, fully defined. There was very limited exploration potential there. That's what we kept hearing back 3 years ago. We've clearly proven that thesis wrong. We've shown this is truly one of the highest growth silver projects out there over the last number of years now, and still a lot is left to be drilled here. I mean, we're really just starting now for the first time this year, drilling beyond that main Oculto deposit. We've drilled that first high-grade target, Jack. We're looking for some exceptional results coming out on that in the very near future. But then looking forward, how many other Jacks can we find? And these are going to be high-grade starter pits. And so we're not just adding ounces where you can, add lower-grade ounces, which is typical, and, that'll go to the back of the mine life. I mean, we already have like a 20-year mine plan here. There's really no sense of just growing this for the sake of growing it if those ounces are going to be lower grade and are going to go at the end of the mine plan. What we're looking to do is upgrade the ounces here. So starting off with high-grade starter pits, that's exactly what Jack is. It's closer to surface, higher grades, higher recoveries, etc. And then some of these other targets, again, represent very unique, attractive exploration opportunities, what can really help add to the robustness of this project. So with that, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, John. We have about 3 minutes for questions, so there's one in the back.
Hi, John. Great job. Looking ahead to the MRE, the update, and followed by the PFS next year, how should we think about the PFS with respect to the development of Jack? Will it be maybe even take priority over Oculto?
Yes.
Will it result in, say, a bigger, more tons per day relative to the PEA, or what are you thinking there in terms of the magnitude of throughput and the sequencing of both deposits?
Yep. So the prior PEA is 2 years old now. That was done at 7,500 tons per day, and we already had a 16-year mine life here, and that was just at Oculto, which we've since expanded. And so now adding Jack, we're really going to be, enables us to increase that throughput rate. So from 7,500 tons per day, we're looking to go to 9,000 tons per day now. So a nice increase in the overall throughput rate here. But as you mentioned, I mean, it's important because now we can sequence. Now we're going to have 2 deposits. Gives us a lot more optionality, and you start mining at your highest rate of return. And so Jack, because it's a lower strip ratio, I mean, this is even 50 meters below surface, it's higher grades and has higher recoveries. I mean, it's very logical. That's going to take precedence. And so that's going to be mined out early on in the mine plan, can achieve very robust sort of payback and return on your capital. And then, of course, you have Oculto, which was already a very robust project. Oculto in and of itself had a 30% after-tax rate of return, had almost a $500 million net present value. So it's good scale here. But yeah, I think in terms of sequencing it, the 2 will certainly overlap. But you would start off by mining Jack up front and then mining Oculto as well and feeding that upgraded plant.
Thank you. Any other questions in the audience? We could ask about Argentina politics, but we'd probably need to be here for another 2 hours.
Never a dull moment in Argentinian politics, I'll say that.
Of course, as a U.S. citizen, I can't say much better for our elections coming up either. So thank you very much, John.
Correct. Thank you very much.